WIBS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only Taylor.
Wow, that's all I can say. That's all I can start with here on Nuanez Now. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Friday. We're coming to you live from Universal Athletic here on 7th Avenue in Bozeman. And just got done with a very elongated, in fact, the longest pro day I've ever gone to. And that's because NFL scouts took Tommy Mellott through every possible workout you could imagine. And I can't really think of somebody rising to the occasion and performing better than Butte America's Finest did today. We'll go through all the pro day stuff. We'll hear from Tommy Mellott. We'll also hear from Brody Grebe, Montana State defensive end. But is he a defensive end at the NFL level? He tried out as a D-end, a linebacker, maybe a tight end and fullback. He caught some passes. He ran some routes today. He looked great as well, and all part of a really electric day here on the Montana State campus. I thought the Grizz did really well yesterday. I thought very many of them, specifically Junior Bergen, Nick Ostmo, Brandon Casey, Keelan White, and Hayden Harris, all very much helped themselves, particularly those two Canadian guys, Keelan White and Hayden Harris, because of their Canadian citizenship. Those two guys, I think, are almost certainly going to get drafted into the Canadian Football League. Well, today, I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that Tommy Mellott's going to get drafted, but I wouldn't be surprised after the day that he just threw down. What an impressive performance. Not only did he absolutely blow the doors off of every single drill that he did during the pro day battery of tests, but he also wowed scouts with his quarterback workout, his wide receiver workout, his running back workout, and then his punt returning workout. Usually a pro day takes about 2 hours. Tommy's took about 5. By the time he got all said and done with all those workouts, plus the Wonderlic test, plus addressing the media, he looked exhausted at the end of it, but he never looked tired during it. And that's just such a testament to his unbelievable physical conditioning and just the work that he's put in, not just over the last 12 weeks, but as he would tell you, over the last 12 years. I mean, this has been a long time coming, a lot in the making. And it's funny because we're leading with Mellott, but I thought Marcus Ware had an outstanding day. I think he at least solidified, if not improved, his NFL draft stock. I thought Grebe had an eye-opening day. Put this in perspective. Brody Grebe is the Defensive Player of the Year out of the Big Sky Conference. He played at 6'2", 250. He ran the 40 almost the exact same time as Junior Bergen did yesterday in Missoula. So that's pretty dang impressive as well. We'll get through all the numbers. I thought Rylan Orton had a good day, actually a really good day. I thought Brennan Hall, the punter, I thought he showed out really well. Ty McCullough, as a guy who's getting overshadowed by all the rest of these guys, but I thought he had a great day as well. So we'll go through all the marks. We'll hear from Tommy Mellott. We'll hear from Brody Grebe. We're also going to talk a little women's Final Four. There hasn't been nearly as much talk about the women's tournament. I think there's been quite a few viewers on it, but there hasn't been nearly as much scuttle without the Caitlin can't be a surprise to anybody that UConn's in the Final Four for the 24th time in their program's illustrious history. So we'll talk some women's Final Four. It is also the WNBA Draft Combine down there in Florida. And Esmeralda Morales is the Big Sky Conference MVP from Montana State. She is there. I saw some video of her earlier. She's certainly showing out well. I know there's a lot of questions whether she can translate to that level. I say yes, absolutely. I know she's only 5 foot years. They're getting a sixth in Ray Johnston, who's one of the best players to come out of Montana in recent years. So it's just an interesting pipeline that they have going on there. It's an interesting bond that those guys have, and it's been fun to watch a bunch of Montana boys succeed on the national level. I mean, you could say, okay, it's just NAIA, but you win a national championship, you're doing some work, no question about it. So that'll be here in hour number one as well. Then hour number two, of course, we have Carol in the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports, a Friday staple. So she'll bring some laughs and some entertainment for you. And we also have a fun interview to sort of put this pro day thing in perspective. I think these post-pro day interviews with the athletes are always fun, but a lot of it's pretty basic, right? How'd you think you did? How's your marks? What mark did you think was the best? Where did you train? Who's your agent? And also, these guys are so tired right when they get done with it. Tommy Malotte's great today, and you'll hear that interview here in just about 10 minutes. He's phenomenal. I thought he was actually even more outgoing in terms of promoting himself. I mean, he's literally never done that before, and today he does it a little bit. Because, I mean, that's what this is. This is a job interview, right? This is, you're trying out for the NFL. But these guys are also, they're tired. It's been a whirlwind. So I wanted to get sort of like a second-hand, but also a first-hand view on what these guys did today. So I caught up with Sean Herod. He's the strength and conditioning coach for the Bobcats. He certainly had played a huge hand in honing these guys' athleticism and their abilities. And he also just has such a great perspective because he's trying to get these guys as big, fast, and strong as they possibly can be. And so, he knows exactly what Tommy Malotte can do and also what it took to do what he did today. And same with Brody Grebe and Marcus Ware and Ty McCullough and Rylan Ort and Cole Sane and Brendan Hall and Cleve Van Thomas and all the guys that participated today. So we'll hear from Sean Howe along with Carol in the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports in the second hour. So looking forward to all of that. If you'd like to stream the show, you always can, 1029ESPN.com. You can also use the ESPN MT app, and you can always check out our ESPN MT YouTube channel. We're not on SWX today. Grizz Lacrosse has a game. Speaking of College of Idaho is also very, very good in lacrosse. This has become sort of a pseudo-rivalry within this conference for the Grizz Lacrosse team because they've been sort of the two top teams. It's funny because the Grizz and the Bobcats are not in the same league in lacrosse. So even though they're fierce rivals, that's not a conference game when they play. That's sort of silly. I wonder if they find a way to change that someday soon. But College of Idaho is in the Grizz League. And this is always a really big game when these two teams play, and that's going down tonight at Washington Grizzly Stadium. It's the last home weekend for Grizz Lacrosse. So because of broadcast technology demands, we're not on SWX Montana Television today, but you can always find us now, as of this week, on our new and improved ESPN MT YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook Live. You can find us on Twitch. You can find us on basically everywhere that you can possibly live stream a show, whether it's our own app or the sort of mainstream apps that exist. We're there. And we're there today again, coming to you live from Universal Athletic here in Bozeman, Montana. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you always can. 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Call it, text it, and all guests join us via the Elevated Tax and Accounting phone line. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch. Want to save money on your taxes this year? Visit elevatedtax.com. This here where I'm at, this is the Universal Athletic headquarters. There's Universal Athletic all over the state of Montana. It's a great place to find any of your sporting goods, whether you're looking for some compression shorts, some socks, some boxing gloves. I'm just looking at the stuff that's right around me. Elbow guards for the softball. They got softball and baseball, a whole team room right behind me. So this is an awesome place to shop. They have locations all across the state of Montana. And we appreciate Universal Athletic for always putting us up here at Nuanez Now. Because it's Friday, that means it's a Florence Coffee Company Friday. I had my Floco on my drive over. I actually came over last night. It was sort of a coin flip, right? This thing got started today at 8:45 in the morning. Bozeman, if it's good weather, it's 200 miles, so it's 2 hours and 45 minutes in the car. But I always say it's 3 hours or 3:15. I drive fast, but you never know when it's this, that, or the other thing when you got to go 30 all the way through the Drummond area, or, you can't see a thing over Homestake Pass. So I was like, okay, do the math. Let's say it's 3 hours. Do I really want to get up and leave at 5:30 in the morning? And I always think when it's been frozen all night, those early mornings are actually the worst time to drive. So last night, I know you're probably thinking I'm crazy, and I am crazy. But last night, right when we got done with Nuanez Now, I went and busted out my story on the Grizz Pro Day, both because I needed it for Skyline Sports, but also I had to farm it out to a couple newspapers in the state of Montana. And then I hit the road. And my rationale was it's already snowing crazy right now, but it just started snowing. So do I want to drive right when it started snowing in the snow, or do I want to let it snow and pile up and freeze and do that at 5 o'clock in the morning? I thought, okay, well, I'm going to be up until 10 or 10:30 anyways. I might as well just drive right now. So I did it last night. So I had some Floco on the drive to Bozeman. And it's funny because they just sent me what they want to promote this month. And I had a cold brew. And that's exactly what is one of the specials going on right now at Florence Coffee Company. There's a reason the Florence Coffee's cold brew is a customer favorite. The cold, slow extraction process results in the smoothest of coffees. Pour over ice into a refreshing afternoon drink. Cold brew is available at all Florence Coffee locations around Western Montana. If you would like to learn more about Florence Coffee and where their 23 locations are throughout Western Montana, you can shop online, FlorenceCoffeeCo.com. Live from Universal Athletic here in Bozeman, it is Bobcat Pro Day. At least Bobcat Pro Day is now in the books. So here's a look at all of the various marks. We'll start with Tommy Millott, because Tommy Millott blew my mind. I think he blew a lot of the scouts' minds, too. If you're wondering who was here, it was the exact same contingent that was in Missoula yesterday, plus one. I actually wasn't able to track down the, plus one NFL scout, minus 3 CFL scouts, right? Yesterday in Missoula, there was 13 NFL teams. All 13 of those same scouts were here in Bozeman today, plus one. I was trying to figure out who. I thought it was going to be the Broncos. The Broncos were not in Missoula yesterday. They were supposed to be here today, but then that scout, he got his travel canceled in here. So I'll track down who it was. But 14 NFL scouts and then 5 CFL scouts. All 8 CFL teams were in Missoula yesterday. Part of that's because of the Canadian citizenship of Keelan White and Hayden Harris. Those guys are both going to be top-notch CFL draft picks because of their native Canadian status. So it made sense that all 8 CFL teams would want to be there. But still, 5 of those CFL representatives came over here. I would say that these pro days were the 2 highest attended cumulative pro days for Montana and Montana State I would say, of the last 15 years. The pro day when Troy Anderson was in Bozeman, he actually didn't do any drills that day, but he did a bunch of interviews. That pro day, there was 25 scouts in Bozeman because they all wanted to see Troy. I mean, he's a top 50 draft pick. And that really helped buoy the case for guys like Daniel Hardy that year. But very many of those scouts didn't go to Missoula that year. This year it was equitable. And I think that's cool. I think that's really good for the rivalry. It's really a testament to the status of the 2 programs. We always talk about how Montana State are the nationally elite, right? And Montana State's certainly been the leader in that narrative over the last 5 or 6 years. But the Grizz have been good to very good, particularly in 2023. And the guys that tried out yesterday for the Grizz, for the pros, were the central figures on that 2023 team that went to Frisco as well. So it's just really cool to see. And I think it's also a testament to the high school football in Montana, because who was the standouts today at the Bobcat Pro Day? In order, it was Tommy Millott, Brody Grebe, and Marcus Ware. Well, that's Butte, Melstone, and Billings. Yesterday, the standouts were Junior Bergen, Billings. Brandon Casey was from Sandpoint, Idaho, but, I mean, I always consider the Idaho Panhandle like an honorary part of Montana, right? It's so close. I mean, shoot, Sandpoint's closer than Billings. Brandon Casey's from closer to Missoula than Junior Bergen is, right? And then you got the two Canadian guys for sure. And then Ryder Meyer was having a great pro day yesterday too, before he busted his hamstring. But that's Fairfield, Montana. So great representation for the state of Montana as well. And it was cool to feel though the buzz around this pro day. I got there early today. I got there about 8 a.m. Everything started about 8:45. I was talking to some of these scouts, and they were asking me, various questions because obviously they've seen a lot, but we've covered these guys for their whole careers, and the Montana guys, we covered them since they were in high school. So, we have a pretty deep perspective on it. And the number one question was, is Tommy Mellott as fast as you think he is? Is he just running away from people because this is the FCS, or is he this fast? We've quoted this on the show. They use next-gen technology at Montana State to measure miles per hour on specific players. Tommy Mellott hit 23 miles per hour twice last year, and this is in games, with pads and a helmet on. So you're thinking this guy's running 23 miles per hour. You're like, what can his 40 time possibly be? How fast is he? So I'll just take you through the way that this all went down. They started in the Bobcat Athletic Complex with the bench press, and I thought Mellott was superb in that, especially for his weight. He came in at 200 pounds. He did 19 reps on the bench. Then they did the vertical. Mellott went 41 inches. Him and Brody Grebe were definitely going back and forth. Grebe wanted 40 so bad. You do your reach up top to see how long your arm is, and then you can have them set the differential so that you can't touch lower than what a specific vertical jump is. Grebe got 38 inches on his first vertical, and he said, okay, set it at 40. And then he barely missed on the next one. Mellott got 41 inches on his first vertical, and then says, set it at 43. He barely missed. 43 would be a top 10 mark ever for wide receiver at the NFL Combine. I know he's a quarterback, but he was working out as sort of a hybrid today, but I think they're going to compare his numbers to wide receiver because I think that's his most easily translatable position. But 41 inches on the vertical. He also went 10.6 in the broad jump, and then came the 40. And it's funny because, like I always say, the only thing I really care about is the achievement of young people and helping promote that, but also just being right. And I've proclaimed on this show, I've proclaimed on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast, I've said it on multiple radio hits on national and regional outlets, that I thought Tommy Mellott was one of the fastest players in college football, period. And I thought that the next-gen stats of his miles per hour justified that. But still, when you put it on the stopwatch, you want to see it, you got to see it. So I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, okay, how's this going to go? What's going to happen? And so the 40s start playing out. And Brody Grebe, who, by the way, got 25 reps in the bench and 38 as a high on the vertical, his first 40, 4.54. That's almost exact same as Junior Bergen. Brody Grebe's 6'2", 244 pounds. So I'm like, okay, that sets the bar pretty high. So Tommy gets up there, and, you again, I don't root for anything besides the achievement of young people. But I'm like, all right, let's go, man. Let's see what you got. First 40, I had him at 4.33. Second 40, I had him at 4.32. The official time ends up at 4.39. Whatever the official means. When you got 25 scouts there, they basically say who had the highest, who had the lowest. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. But the guys standing next to me timing this, the Raiders scout had 4.34. The Seahawks scout had 4.32. I've never seen a reaction like that at Pro Day from NFL scouts. I think they'd heard the legend of Tommy Mellott's speed, but I don't know if they'd actually comprehended it. So they're looking at their watches, and they're laughing out loud. Everybody's smiling, showing each other, are you kidding me? Because, it doesn't matter if it's 4.31 or 4.39. It does matter in terms of, the prowess of the 40. But, if you're under 4.4, that's laugh out loud fast. And if everybody in the whole stadium has you at under 4.4, you ran under 4.4. That's wild. Block kept going. He ran a 4.20 in the short shuttle and 6.85 in the L drill. He then proceeded to put on a show throwing the ball. Then he went and did wide receiver drills. He also showed some Wildcat stuff, some running back stuff. Then he went to Bobcat Stadium, did a whole punt return deal. Then he went and took the Wonderlic test, and then he came to talk to us. We'll go through some of these other marks from Pro Day, but I want to get this Tommy Mellott sound in. We're coming to you live from Universal Athletic. I know Andrew's sitting there behind the glass running the show here, so here's what we're going to do, Andrew. We'll play this Tommy Mellott first bit. We'll do a little reset, talk a little bit about these guys a little more, play the second part of the Tommy Mellott. Then we'll bump Brody Grebe to the next segment, and we'll keep on talking about Task State Pro Day. But we'll get this thing started with the Mining City's favorite son, Tommy Mellott. 4.38 in the 40, a 41-inch vertical, 19 reps on the bench, a 10'6" broad jump, and very, very impressive in all his personal drills. Here's his thoughts on how he performed here at Montana State's Pro Day on Friday.
It's a relief. The season gets over in beginning of January, and that next week you're shipped off to go training for 3 months. You're away from your family, away from loved ones, and you put everything into it. Just discipline, consistency, for those 3 months. But I'd also like to, obviously point out that it's much more beyond that consistency and discipline for, the past 8, 9, 10 years, and a lot of people, pouring into me with, all the way back to high school. Coach Gray, speed coach, helping me. He was a track athlete here, football player as well, and he poured into me, helped lead me to obviously a great position getting here, and then Coach Heron obviously has done a great job. So in the past 3 months I've been able to work with people down in California, Les Spellman, so it's been special.
Yeah, I guess what all went into that 3-month stretch kind of building up to this day for you?
It's just, I wouldn't say that there's anything special. I think it's similar stuff that we do here. It's what this program is built on. It's, like I said, it's consistency, day in and day out, with everything, with sleep, nutrition, training, recovery, all of those aspects.
What was it like training as a receiver and working out today as a receiver?
Yeah, I loved it. So I'm, a football player. I always have been. I just happened to play quarterback for the past 4 years. That's what our team needed to win, and I put everything into it. I started here. People doubted my ability to play the quarterback position. After 4 years, I become the player of the year at the quarterback position. So that's the type of growth that I can have at whatever position it might be. And so I see that there's a start to it here, and there's a couple of weeks here that I gotta start developing that. And I think that it just continue to flourish as I continue my career.
You bring for potential scouts, what do you bring to a team?
My position specifically, I think it's invaluable to whatever team might get me. Being on the field, not knowing if the individual's gonna be able to throw the ball, run the ball, catch the ball, all those different aspects. So just like that dynamic piece, actually playing the game, and then beyond that, I'm just a team first player. I work my butt off every single day. As you can see today, I wasn't the fastest kid in my middle school, but I'm standing here today running a 4.39. So it's just a testament to who I am as an individual, what I've done, and the people that have supported me.
When you have your hand on the line before the 40, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I've practiced it so many times. I've ran track, obviously, through high school, 3-sport athlete. Track helped me a ton. Showing up down in California, I think a lot of people, they immediately were like, geez, man, like, you can run. And obviously a surprise, but yeah, I think that it's, you resort back to your mean, I suppose. And so I think that I ran well. I think I could have ran better. I think I could, but you resort back to your mean on big occasions like this. I don't think you rise to the occasion. I think you resort back to your mean, and my mean's pretty high. So that was what today was all about.
How do you get yourself mentally prepared to do a workout in a competition like this, where each thing is only 5 to 6 seconds long, right?
It's weird. Playing football, it's a grueling 60-minute slug out, and it's a lot of preparation. You're beat up, and so it's fighting through so many different aspects. But today, just to see how fast you are and how quick you are, and so you visualize it as you're training. You practice in situations that are stressful. You practice, all those different aspects to it, because it is as much emotionally as it is physically. And so, all those different aspects go into a day like today.
To be able to possibly represent Butte and this school at the next level, what does that mean to you?
It's an honor for sure. Growing up, there's very few individuals from Montana and let alone, and very much next to none from Butte that have an opportunity to go play Division I football, let alone go and start and become an All-American at one point, and then have an opportunity to play in the NFL is, such a low percentage. So it's an honor to obviously, represent the people that have bought into who I am as an individual and supported me through this entire, 8, 9, 10-year stretch here, all the way dating back to middle school. So many people have believed in me, poured into me, and so it's an honor to come out here and represent them.
Which mark are you proudest of today?
I guess I'm happy with everything. So I guess the mark that I'm most happy about is just being able to, the entire crew, all 7 of us, being able to represent Coach Herring. To be honest with you, that's the mark that means the most to me, because what that guy has sacrificed, for me, for this entire program, he's super special. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that he's as elite as they come, and Montana State's extremely special to have him. They're extremely grateful to have him.
Tommy Millott here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, after running 4.39 officially, but everybody had him between 4.31 and 4.41. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Blazing fast. Go watch the videos on Twitter. That's the thing, too. His acceleration is so absurd that as fast as that is, he's still accelerating through the line. They did this in the North Dome here at Montana State, on the Montana State campus, and he ran all the way through the line and exploded for 30 more yards. His second one, he almost ran into the wall. He was going so fast. So impressive to see an athlete like that run. Here's the second part of Tommy Millott's interview. We're coming to you from Bozeman, Montana, Universal Athletic Service. Universal, no matter what time of year it's at, they always have something on sale, and they always have something you can't find anywhere else. So come check them out. The headquarters here in Bozeman is beautiful. They have many retail stores around the state of Montana, I think 8 or 9 of them. But this one is the premier one. This is where Universal Athletic got all started. So if you ever need anything from sporting goods to merchandise to new shoes, Universal Athletic can help you out. You can find all their locations online. I'm coming to you from the one on 7th Avenue here in Bozeman. Here's the second part of Tommy Millott's interview in his post-pro day workout.
Doing such a high level of training that you did the last 12 weeks, how did it compare to Coach Herring's program? Because it seemed like you guys had a great baseline going into these sort of pro preparations.
Absolutely, yeah. Getting advice from him probably meant the most, to be honest with you. And he believed in Les Spellman down in California. And so whatever connection that got it all together, I just know that there's multiple names that brought it up. And I think that, I don't know if he subscribes to his universal speed rating. There's some sort of program that he runs. But, it's basically the exact same thing. There's a little bit of equipment that's a little bit different, but other than that, it was, it's the work's the work, and Coach Herring coaches it as well as anybody. But it was special to go and train with a guy that he believes in as well. So,
rooming with Marcus and training with those other kind of elite college players, how special was that down with Les down there?
Yeah, it was special. I think that there's so much uncertainty. I didn't know where I was going to be going. I didn't know what anything was going to look like. And so I really had about 4 days to figure all of it out. And so it was an overwhelming process, but, you just put faith into what other people, that you trust and you care about, tell you. And you go off and you do everything you can, and you control what you can control. So, Marcus and I think it was a great pair. He's extremely competitive. He gets everything, he does everything a million miles an hour. But he's also, I think he takes care of himself in a great way. I think I do as well, but I think I always like to do as much as I possibly can, which is sometimes less is more. So, we were a good little, ice and fire there, being able to kind of help each other out with that. So,
yeah. Would take from or study any other quarterbacks that made the switch to receiver once they got to the league?
Yeah, I think that the immediate reaction would be Julian Edelman, and it's funny. I've told people this today. I have pictures from when I was in the 4th grade, my first practice. In little guy football, I had his jersey on, and that was when all he did. He was a rookie, so he was just a punt returner. But I had his rookie card, I had his jersey. He's a guy that, you know, I just, for whatever reason, you know, lean towards, I suppose, and so I think that, I don't think I'm like the exact same individual as Julian Edelman. I think there's gonna be a lot of comparisons with that, but, you know, I think that he's one person that I've obviously, you know, I like to see myself going in and playing, you know, a 10, 11-year NFL career and helping win Super Bowls, doing stuff like that, and all, you know, whatever it takes. He played defense, he played special teams. He was one of the best, you know, postseason receivers and receivers general in the entire, you know, NFL history. So he's made his mark like no one else, and I believe I can do that as well.
How much other positions are you? I mean, obviously training as punt returner there. Running back, anything else? Other receiver, or is receiver kind of the locked-in thing that scouts see you as?
I really didn't get an impression that there's a certain position. I think, you know, I played quarterback. I know defenses as a quarterback. I've also played receiver. I've played, you know, in a 2-quarterback system, split out as wide receiver, in the backfield as running back. And those are the things I've done in my career. And so I think that, and I'm like ran for 1,000 yards in 2 different seasons. So I think there's a lot of opportunity with what I'm able to present for sure.
What'd you think of your other teammates today, how they tested, especially Brody Grebe?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a special day to be back here and compete with those guys again. Again, it was that game, the emotional, just overwhelming emotionally. You know, you end the season the way that we ended, and you immediately have to, you know, pick yourself up and have no idea where you're going to be going. You have to, you know, tell loved ones, your family, you know, goodbye, everything that's kind of comfortable, goodbye. You kind of put your faith into, you know, people around you to try to support you as much as you can, because you don't really know, you know, how you're going to be able to really afford everything, you know, as well. So that was just so much gratitude for people that have supported me. But I think that they all left obviously as well, and they, you know, worked their butt off for the 4 months, 4 months that they had. And to get back with these guys, it just meant the world. And to go see that, you know, everybody's performance was very special. I hope that they can come out here and obviously represent themselves the best that they possibly can, because I think that everybody performed extremely well today. And, you know, I'm very happy and privileged to obviously compete with those guys. I'm not where I'm at today without those guys, you know, pushing me. So,
Tommy Mellott, the star of the Pro Day at Montana State here earlier this afternoon in Bozeman, Montana. It's Nuanez Now, live from Universal Athletic Service here in Bozeman. We'll come back and keep on talking Cat Pro Day. Brody Grebe had himself a fine day. The Melstone Cowboy, our guest next. Don't change that dial. Either you're watching on YouTube or the ESPN MT app, or you're listening on 102.9 ESPN Radio. Back right after this.
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Attention, your locally owned and nationally known mattress firm thanks the Missoula community for 10 years of amazing support and growth. There's a huge remodel sale blowout before the doors close for their 2-week remodel. All inventory must go. Mattresses, adjustable bases, accessories, all drastically marked down to clear the showroom. Save it to 60% off on top name brands. If you've been waiting for that amazing deal, now is the time. Mattress Firm's remodel sale only April 1st through the 15th.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Tommy Millott and Brody Grebe both made some money on Friday. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. At Montana State's Pro Day, 14 NFL scouts and 5 CFL scouts watched a collection of 8 Bobcats go through a battery of tests. Millott, a quarterback from Butte, who was the 2024 Walter Payton Award winner, and Grebe, a defensive end from Melstone, who was the 2024 Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year, each stole the show. Millott turned heads from the beginning, putting up 19 bench reps at 225 pounds, leaping 41 inches in the vertical, and soaring 10'6" in the broad jump. When the drills moved to the North Dome on the MSU campus, the quarterback turned slash continued to impress. Millott ran a pair of sub-4.4 second 40s, registering an unofficial best time of 4.39. He also had competitive times in the 3-cone and the L drill before putting on another show at first doing quarterback drills and then running routes. Grebe, who was a monster off the edge the last 4 years for MSU, showed up to the Pro Day looking lean and clean-shaven. He ripped off a 38.5-inch vertical and pumped out 25 bench press reps. He jumped 10'4" in the broad jump and ran a pair of sub-4.6 second 40s, coming in officially at 4.54 seconds. Offensive guard Marcus Ware also stood out, hitting 29 bench reps, registering a 34.5-inch vertical and a broad jump of 9'6". For more on Montana State's Pro Day, tune into Nuanez Now this afternoon at 4 p.m.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
What is it you want to do when you grow up? Hey, yo, I'm going to be on TikTok. That's all my eyes can see. Victory is mine. Yeah, surprisingly. I've been waiting for your next mistake. I put in work and watch my status escalate. Now I'm going to start collecting props, connecting plots, networking like a...
Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX by Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. No SWX today, though. Almost always. I just am in the habit of saying it. We've only been doing it for, 1,500 shows ever since SWX put us on statewide television. But we are on the ESPN MT YouTube channel right now as well. And if you don't see us in the ESPN MT studio, well, then we're not there. We're here at Universal Athletic on 7th Avenue in Bozeman, Montana. Montana State's Pro Day in the books. So that's another sort of chapter to the football season. Next week, through the next couple of weeks, will be tons of spring ball talk around here because we've been talking spring ball quite a bit already, but Grizz have their spring game on Friday from Washington Grizzly Stadium, so we'll be coming to you live from there leading up to that showcase. And then the Bobcats are doing their spring game April 26th. They started a couple weeks late on spring ball. I shouldn't say late, just after. There's no time that's early or late. I just mean on the calendar. But we'll be here back in Bozeman for that as well. So plenty of contemporary football team talk, but these guys are the guys that just completed their careers, and it's always fun to see the Pro Day because it's sort of this last opportunity for these guys to compete as Grizz and or as Bobcats. Unless you win the national championship, which has not happened for a team in the state of Montana in 24 years. 2001, the last time the Grizz won the national championship. 1984, the last time the Cats won the national championship. If you don't win the Natty, your last performance in your uniform is a loss. But if you're fortunate enough to be good enough to be a pro prospect, you get a chance, one more chance, to compete as a Grizz or as a Bobcat. We saw that from 7 Grizz yesterday. We saw that from 8 Bobcats today. We talked extensively about Tommy Millott and Brody Grebe off the top. But Grebe, I mentioned the 25 reps, the 38-inch vert, but it was the 40s that really, I think, solidified him as a definite NFL player. I don't know if he's going to – I don't think he's going to get drafted. He came in about 6'1 3/4", 244 pounds. 31 and 7/8 arms. If you're under 33 arms, you're probably not going to be an edge guy, at least not a draft pick in the NFL. But he did do a whole bunch of other drills. He worked out as sort of like a fullback, H-back, tight end type. So that was very intriguing to watch. This is why you recruit Montana kids, and this is why Montana kids have to get chances and continue to get chances. There's a lot of guys that are tweeners at the FCS level that then try to transition to a different position. A lot of those guys didn't play the position they're trying to transition to before in their lives, or it's been since they were in middle school that they've done it. And I'm not saying that all Class C kids have a better chance, but the fact that Brody Grebe played both Class C and Class B football, 8-man and 11-man, when he was playing at Roundup, he was the quarterback, he was the Wildcat guy, he was the punt returner, he was the kick returner. He's also one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the state of Montana, and he's also got about 10 gold medals in track and field. So he knows how to do all the other athletic disciplines. Imagine putting just a normal, everyday defensive end who's Brody Grebe's size, let's just say 6'2", 250, and say, hey, you need to learn how to run routes. You need to learn how to catch the ball. You need to learn how to take handoffs. You need to learn how to throw the ball. 99% of those guys will fall flat on their face. They would not look – they might be able to look serviceable after training on it for 12 to 14 weeks like these guys just had between the national championship to then today's workout. But like Brody Grebe was throwing the ball like a real quarterback. Why? Because he played quarterback for multiple years in high school. He's running routes. Well, it's because when he was playing 8-man football at Millstone when he was a young guy, he's run some routes. He's played some tight end. He looked really, really fluid doing it. I think that gives him a chance to get into a camp. And his 40 times, I had it at 4.52 and 4.58. Officially, they had it at 4.58 on the scouting list. That's super impressive. The other pro day marks from Montana State that really stood out to me, Marcus Ware did 29 reps, a 34.5-inch vertical, 9.6 on the broad jump, and a 5.19 in the 40. He came in at 6'2 3/4, 302 pounds. I talked to him right before the workout early in the morning. I said, how you feeling? He goes, man, I weighed myself last night. I was 298 pounds because I think I'm stressed out. Like my body burned a couple off. He's like, I wanted to come in at 300. So he's like, this morning I drank 4 gallons of water to get over 300 pounds. And he's like, I'm worried what's going to happen if I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, yeah, man. But he's like, I came in at 302, so that's what I needed. So either way, 298 or 302, we're splicing hairs there. But if you have a 35-inch vertical and a 9.6 broad jump at that size, impressive. Rylan Ort was also really good. The strong safety was a Missoula Sentinel product. 23 reps in the bench, 37.5-inch vertical, 9.9 in the broad jump, 4.72 in the 40, so that's maybe just a boom, a hair slow, but still pretty good. 4.32 in the short shuttle, which is really, really good. I mean that's almost as good as Tommy Malott. And then 6.89 in the L drill, which was actually the best of the day for anybody here at Montana State's Pro Day. So that was also impressive. Cole Sain had a good day, too, the offensive lineman. He did 30 reps on the bench. 27 reps on the bench, 30 inches on the vertical, 9-foot broad jump. He did not run the 40. He was 4.76 in the pro shuttle, 7.9 in the L drill. And Cleveland Thomas, who's actually a senior last year, he made the Browns minicamp roster and then almost made training camp. He ran it back today, 18 reps on the bench, 37-inch vertical, 9'9" in the broad jump, 4.51 in the 40, 4.42 in the pro shuttle, 7.13 in the L drill. And then Ty McCullough was the other one. And McCullough looked great, actually. McCullough did not go anywhere to train because he's getting his master's degree at Montana State. So he just did this on his own. But he had a 35-inch vert, 10.3 in the broad jump. He ran a 4.56 in the 40, 4.61 in the short shuttle, and 7.07 in the L drill. The Millstone Cowboy, caught up with him earlier today. Here's Brody Grebe, Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio.
Feeling good. It was a good day. Got to do a lot of different things, show some versatility, show some athleticism, doing different things, and that was the main thing for me going into pro day is size-wise, I'm probably not the ideal DN body type with the arm length and the height, so being able to show that I can do different things off the ball, like the fullback stuff, all that. I thought it was important for me to do that stuff to show versatility, and then especially for like special teams and stuff like that. I think some of the scouts voiced that to me, that they're really happy about that. So.
Does it seem like fullback might be your best option position-wise at the next level?
I have no idea. We'll see in the next couple of weeks what the scouts are saying, what they like, what they didn't like, what they thought I did well, what I didn't do well. So a lot of them were pleased with it. And so whatever happens, happens. I just want to be able to get on a team and try to prove that I value the team.
What was the jump, the vertical that you were aiming for?
I mean, I've jumped 40 multiple times on the Vertex, so having the 38, I was a little upset with that. It's fine, it's no big deal, but it's still a good jump, and yeah, I was a little upset, but that's all right.
What has your training looked like the past few months?
I went down to Florida right after the Natty. I didn't even get to come back to Montana, so quick trip there, and then was there all the way until I came back like 8-10 days ago, and worked out there at the training facility called X3, and there was like 50 other guys there, assortment of guys from all different types of schools, and we just did the pro day stuff, training. We got to do some position work as well with some position coaches, and stayed down there and had a good time, and then came back.
You were roommates with Junior Bergen, right? How was that? Was that cool to share that experience with him?
Yeah, just being able to share memories with him, talk some trash for sure. But yeah, he's a good dude. You got to have a lot of respect for great players. He got to the spot that he's at for a reason, and he had a good day yesterday, and I got to talk to him. So yeah, it was a good experience.
You have track experience in your past, so did you have to tap into that when you're like got your hand on the line or you're getting ready to do a broad jump and stuff like that?
That was the weirdest thing for me, to be honest, going from like the track 40 stance from my D-line stance. Like, you're always taught to have your head behind your hands, you know that you're not going to be off sides and stuff, so my weight's always a little more back, and you have to get your weight more up, your butt higher and stuff like that. So that was really awkward for me for a long time, and it ended up working out all right, I guess.
Did you like the 40 times you ran?
Yeah, I heard a range of 40 times. I don't know what the official came out to be.
Like 4.55, I think is what it came out to be.
Okay, yeah, so I'm happy with 4.55. I had been the 4.5s right at the edge of that once or twice, so yeah, I'm happy with that.
When it comes to training for this long, for this one day where it all culminates, how do you sort of put all that in and get prepared mentally to do a performance like this?
It's really weird, like, to basically do track events and stuff like that rather than necessarily football work. For 3 months, I haven't done that for so long, and it was kind of refreshing, I guess, a little bit to do some different things, work on explosiveness and end range of motion and running fast and top end speed and stuff. But it's definitely weird, but it took me back like to feeling like track, where you got to get mentally ready for each event and then calm down, lower your heart rate and stuff like that, and get ready for the next one so you don't burn out too quickly. But yeah, it ended up working out well, and like I said, I got all the position work in different positions, so I had a long day, but it was good.
To have the opportunity to play at the next level, being from a small town, what does that mean to you?
It means the world. I always talk about giving small town kids someone to look up to and dream big, and that's what I've always said, that as a little kid I always dreamed of this, being a professional athlete, watching NFL games, watching NBA, watching everything, pro rodeo. I always knew that I wanted to be a professional athlete, so for it to come around like this and give myself a chance today, I guess. Not that anything's happened, but to give myself a chance, that was huge, and I'm really grateful to be in the position I'm in and the sport that I've had to get to this point.
For people that don't know, what do small town Montana-made athletes, what do they bring to teams?
A certain level of grittiness, toughness, willingness to do whatever, just work hard day in and day out. And I mean, I was training for this for 3 months, but I've been training this my whole life, and for it to come out and perform like I did, it's a pretty cool feeling.
I guess being back out there with your teammates, competing alongside them, how was that?
Yeah, that was one of the best parts about it, just to like meet up with them after not seeing them for 3 months. I mean, we talk every single week, but coming back and seeing their faces, and it gives you another jump in your energy, I guess. And it's hard because you're told not to focus or like watch what the other guys are doing, but I found myself every single time I couldn't help but watch those guys, because I mean, they mean the world to me, and I want them to do well, so I wanted to be there and yelling for them and watching them.
Bernie Grebe, the Millstone Cowboy, here on Nuanez Now. What a day he had as well. A fun day here at Montana State. Fun day yesterday in Missoula as well. Pro days are so exciting to cover, because you're talking about the best of the best. This is a job tryout for the most competitive, one of the most competitive leagues and one of the most competitive jobs in the world. And being around the NFL scouts, especially when there's a bunch of them, it's super fun. It also can be a little bit, not depressing is the wrong word, but like a letdown. Because watching a guy that's dreamed his whole life of doing this, and then watching him test and having it just be objectively not good enough, and everybody that's at these things, it's either good enough or it's not. And like I always say, if you work your hardest and then your marks just aren't good enough, that's not your fault. You worked your hardest. But, man, it's emotional to see guys' dreams die hard. I thought we saw about half the field in Missoula and about at least half the field in Bozeman extend their dreams, extend their football careers. So that's pretty awesome. We'll talk a brief amount about hoops on the other side, and then we'll talk more football and have some fun with Carol and the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. That's all next. Don't change that dial. Keep right here. It's Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio.
For 20 years, there's been a sound that's helped define Missoula. A sound as unique as the people who call this place home. The Trail 103.3. We're grateful. We're honored. We remain true to the community and true to the music. Tune in for the celebration. Tune in for the party. Tune in for the next 20 years. We can hardly wait.
I can't wait.
The Trail 103.3.
Hardly wait.
In the Treasure State, University of Montana football is a way of life. Lithia Ford has long been a proud sponsor of Grizz football, and Lithia Ford of Missoula is thrilled to have several of the best Montana football seniors driving the best trucks in Montana. Aspen Sound is the premier car audio and accessory shop in Montana. Aspen Sound makes sure the boys are riding in style with tinted windows and state-of-the-art stereo systems. There's always a party in Montana. Whether you're going to a concert, a wedding, or a football game, the Montana Party Bus will get you there. Skyline Sports and ESPN MT cover the big sky with more depth than anyone. Check out SkylineSportsMT.com and tune in to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula every day. My Montana Roots and Wear Your Roots clothing is your go-to spot for the most unique and comfortable lifestyle clothing you'll find anywhere. And get your custom t-shirts to support your favorite player. From 5 local businesses who love Montana, best of luck to the Grizz as they pursue another Big Sky Conference championship.
Attention, your locally owned and nationally known mattress firm thanks the Missoula community for 10 years of amazing support and growth. There's a huge remodel sale blowout before the doors close for their 2-week remodel. All inventory must go. Mattresses, adjustable bases, accessories, all drastically marked down to clear the showroom. Save it to 60% off on top name brands. If you've been waiting for that amazing deal, now is the time. Mattress Firm's remodel sale only April 1st through the 15th.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Standing on the front stoop, hanging out the window, watching all the cars go by, roaring as the breezes blow. A crazy lady living in a bag, eating out of garbage pail.
Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, live from Universal Athletic here in Bozeman, Montana. We're sitting right below the Montana Football Hall of Fame exhibit. I am on the board of directors for the Montana Football Hall of Fame, one of my favorite events of the year. It's coming back at 2 Billings to the Magic City, June 22nd and 23rd. So if you'd like to join us, please do. Another star-studded class highlighted and headlined by a couple great former Grizz, a couple great former Bobcats. Probably the most reputable names, Lex Hilliard, Kalispell, Montana product, who played in the NFL for 6 years after a standout record-setting career for the Grizz. Corey Bierman, the 2007 Buck Buchanan Award winner from Hardin, Montana, played at Montana and then played in the NFL for 10 years. And Joey Thomas, who was a third-round draft pick out of Montana State, a guy that was one of the most talented pure individual talents that the Big Sky has ever seen. And now he's coaching at the University of Texas. So if you'd like to join us, please do. A couple news briefs from the state of Montana. First of all, Kai Stewart, who's a friend of the show, a Loma, Montana native. He went to high school in Great Falls, went to CMR. He was a state champion wrestler there at CMR. But he is now the premier bare knuckles fighter at the featherweight division in the world. He's been the BKFC featherweight champion for about a year now. He's defended his title 3 times, but tomorrow night he gets to headline his biggest BKFC event yet. He will fight in Dubai. So the great story by Tom Wiley on MontanaSports.com. You go from Loma, Montana, which is literally, I'm not even exaggerating, population 45, to Dubai, headlining an international world title fight. Pretty cool. Like he said, in Tom Wiley's story, he said, no matter what happens, I'm going to keep on smiling because, this is not how it's supposed to go, and I've already achieved my dreams. So very cool. Kai Stewart has been a guest on our show, I think 3 times so far during his just meteoric rise to MMA stardom, and this BKFC is one of the fastest growing promotions and just sports in the world. So pretty cool to follow along for a guy from tiny little small town Montana. Esmeralda Morales is currently at the WNBA Draft Combine. They had a little bit of a exhibition game earlier. They were streaming it, saw some highlights on Twitter, and she's certainly not just holding her own. She's playing well. She's small. She's 5'4". She's slight, but I think that her ball skills and her skills in the ball screen are what make her a professional player. I don't know if it's at the WNBA or at a high level internationally, but the WNBA and pro basketball in general at the women's level has become very much like the men's level. If you can operate in the high ball screen, you can make the correct decisions, you are an elite ball handler, which she is. You're elite passing one-handed with each hand, which she is. And you can spot up, shoot, and jump shoot going either direction at all 3 levels, which Morales can. You're a pro. And honestly, if you can do all those things, your game will actually get better when you get to the top level. Because Montana State ran some ball screen stuff for her this year for sure. But like at the pro level, let's say you get on one of the top Greek or Italian or Spanish league teams or one of the top Russian teams. You're getting ball screens all day long. Like you're gonna run that 80% of the time, and it's just you reach, I teach. I mean, it's you go here, I go there. It's like option quarterbacking, right? You're just reading the defense and taking whatever it gives you, and if you can read it at an elite level, it's just like a quarterback that gets red hot in the NFL or in college football. You can dice it. I think Morales has got that. I know Tricia Binford, Montana State's head coach, thinks that same thing. Steph Curry was a great college player. Think about how good he was in college and how much better he got almost immediately when he got to the NBA. Because of the ball screen stuff and because you're surrounded by so many better players. Like, you get the ball screen, well, now the guy you're throwing the lob to is Draymond Green instead of just the power forward at Davidson, right? The guy you're kicking it out to the corner is Klay Thompson. It's not just a college guy. Montana State's women were great this year, but like you surround Esmeralda Morales with pros, and look out. She's going to have a real shot. It's Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. I mentioned the College of Idaho off the top, and it's worth noting again, College of Idaho won the NAIA National Championship for the second time in 3 years, and they have a collection of Montana guys on that roster, and it's just cool to shout those guys out. Guys that have been on this show before. Drew Wyman, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year out of Great Falls. Dougie Peoples, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year out of Butte Central. Alex Germer, who was the Montana Basketball Player of the Year out of Missoula Sentinel, started his career at the Bobcats, and now he's there at College of Idaho. And Caden Hendren from Scobie, all those guys were crucial cogs. Of course, Ray Johnston from Missoula Loyola, the two-time reigning Montana Gatorade Player of the Year. He is also going there to the College of Idaho. So head coach Colby Blaine's doing a heck of a job. That's a really cool story. And the Oats wouldn't be two-time national champions if it wasn't for a bunch of standout former Montana Gatorade Players of the Year on that roster. Live from Universal Athletic here in Bozeman, Montana. Hour 1's in the books. Hour 2 is coming at you. We will hear from Sean Herron, the strength and conditioning coach from Montana State. We'll also hear from Carolyn, the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. That's all next. Don't change that dial. Keep right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
State University of Montana football is a way of life. Lithia Ford has long been a proud sponsor of Grizz football, and Lithia Ford of Missoula is thrilled to have several of the best Montana football seniors driving the best trucks in Montana. Aspen Sound is the premier car audio and accessory shop in Montana. Aspen Sound makes sure the boys are riding in style with tinted windows and state-of-the-art stereo systems. There's always a party in Montana. Whether you're going to a concert, a wedding, or a football game, the Montana Party Bus will get you there. Skyline Sports and ESPN MT cover the Big Sky with more depth than anyone. Check out SkylineSportsMT.com and tune in to Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula every day. My Montana Roots and Wear Your Roots clothing is your go-to spot for the most unique and comfortable lifestyle clothing you'll find anywhere. And get your custom t-shirts to support your favorite player. From 5 local businesses who love Montana, best of luck to the Grizz as they pursue another Big Sky Conference championship.
What are you drinking?
I think I'll have a 56. 56 Counties American Light Lager. A beer for Montanans and friends of Montanans.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
What is a jewelry design center?
JDC is a family-owned business with deep roots in Montana. Why Montana? Because this community made us. Made us family, made us artisans, made us believe in love, made us hometown heroes. Because this community made us shine. Why Montana? Because Montana is home.
At the Stone of Accord, our liquor store has an extensive selection of Irish whiskeys, wine, and local spirits. We also have exciting events daily, and our complimentary beverages are always served with a smile. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair, restaurant, liquor store, and casino. Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair, restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Tommy Millott and Brody Grebe both made some money on Friday. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. At Montana State's Pro Day, 14 NFL scouts and 5 CFL scouts watched a collection of 8 Bobcats go through a battery of tests. Millott, a quarterback from Butte, who was the 2024 Walter Payton Award winner, and Grebe, a defensive end from Melstone, who was the 2024 Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year, each stole the show. Millott turned heads from the beginning, putting up 19 bench reps at 225 pounds, leaping 41 inches in the vertical, and soaring 10'6" in the broad jump. When the drills moved to the North Dome on the MSU campus, the quarterback turned slash continued to impress. Millott ran a pair of sub-4.4 second 40s, registering an unofficial best time of 4.39. He also had competitive times in the 3-cone and the L drill before putting on another show, at first doing quarterback drills and then running routes. Grebe, who was a monster off the edge the last 4 years for MSU, showed up to the Pro Day looking lean and clean-shaven. He ripped off a 38.5-inch vertical and pumped out 25 bench press reps. He jumped 10'4" in the broad jump and ran a pair of sub-4.6 second 40s, coming in officially at 4.54 seconds. Offensive guard Marcus Ware also stood out, hitting 29 bench reps, registering a 34.5-inch vertical and a broad jump of 9'6". For more on Montana State's Pro Day, tune into Nuanez Now this afternoon at 4 p.m.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Except there's only one of me. But I couldn't do it without Andrew Houghton behind the glass and on the other side of the Continental Divide. He is back at the ESPN MT studio here, in the Garden City. I'm here in Bozeman, Montana, at Universal Athletic on 7th Avenue. Pro Day coverage for the Bobcats a day after the Pro Day coverage for the Grizz. Let's hear from Sean Harrod. He helped get these guys ready over the last 4 years before they went and trained in other places for the last 12 weeks, but he certainly played a huge role in Montana State's success. I thought Tommy Millott, Brody Grebe, Marcus Weir, Rylan Ort, Ty McCullough even, I thought they all helped themselves certainly today, and it was a fun day to watch. Here's Montana State's strength coach from earlier today. Nuanez Now ESPN Radio coming to you from Sean Herron's office. He's the strength and conditioning coach here at Montana State. The Bobcats fresh off a Pro Day. Sean, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. I thought it was a great day. It's proud to see the guys. It's always fun having the guys come back, when you play in that championship game, the way you depart is interesting, where
Right.
you don't even get on the same plane and go back home. So it was really cool just to have the guys back and around, and then obviously watch them go out and perform and do something, be a part of something they've been working towards their whole life. So it was a good day.
It's funny because this is such a testing of athleticism to play football, but not necessarily playing football. But you specialize in getting guys ready athletically and strength-wise to then transition on the football field. So this is sort of kind of like right up your alley. So what do you think of just watching all these tests?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think I probably had a good gauge as to, how the guys were going to do, because I've been doing this with them for a long time. Not to the exact science of the tests that they were doing today, but just our style of training leads to, being explosive, doing a lot of speed work. So they, hopefully what we did here at Montana State set them up to have a really good starting point, because all these guys disperse and they go to these random training facilities, right? And they get to focus for 8 to 10 weeks on these 7 tests. And so hopefully the training from what we're doing here with me and my staff just sets them up to be, in a good spot. And then again, have a day like they had today.
I know you've tested these guys in a lot of these different disciplines that they did today. And it's funny because if you didn't know what these guys test like, you'd say these guys blew the doors off it, and they definitely did. But Brody Grebe was just saying, like 38.5-inch vertical. He's like, man, I was mad about that because I've gotten 40, 41 when he's tested with you. But just watching these guys sort of lock in mentally
that's the other part, right? You got to conquer the stress. You got 15 NFL scouts watching you. So what'd you think of these guys just mentally being able to sort of channel their training?
Yeah, and I think that's the challenge. I think a lot of these guys, one of the common things they'll all tell you is like, they're all talking about what kind of burger they're gonna eat when they finish. I'm like,
Totally.
all of you guys are gonna go take a nap. Like,
Right.
You're not even gonna think
Right.
about food because it's just the mental stress. And in training, the way they do it is they kind of segment these tests where one day you're working on 40, the next day you're working on the agility stuff, and so you got to be able to do it all in one day. You got to go after your PR and everything. You got to do it with 22 scouts watching you, an audience, fans, family. So the mental stress on top of, what you're putting your body, what you're asking your body to try to do for you in this, in this job interview is really taxing. And I felt like I knew all of our guys are going to rise to the occasion. That's why they're in this position, because those are the guys who are going to show up when the lights are shining brightest. So I thought it was great.
John Heron, Montana State Strength and Conditioning, joining us here on Nuanez Now. I told people, I said this on the show, I said I think this is the must-see sporting event of the first half of 2025. It's going to get us through until we get to football, and so much of that's because I had to see what Tommy Mellott ran like. So when you saw the numbers and you see sub 4.4, I know you told me, we've texted before that you thought he's one of the fastest guys you've ever trained. What'd you think of his 40 times?
Yeah, I mean, I was not surprised. I was a little worried because we were in the Dome. It wasn't going to be in Bobcat Stadium, and he's going to show up in Bobcat Stadium like he had for us, all these last 4 years. But I had a coach come in my office the other day and say, "Hey, what's he going to run?" And I said, "I bet my house on him running in the 4.3s." And for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that didn't see that, and I still can't quite understand.
Me neither, man.
Watch the film.
I mean, he's the fastest player in the country.
Yeah, and so. And I've been doing the combine pro day prep for 15 years, and the fastest guy I ever had ran an unofficial 4.27, official 4.33, and Tommy was hitting the splits very similar to that and being 25 pounds heavier than that guy. Right. So he just has elite acceleration ability, and that's the thing that helps you that's what makes you a good football player. If you're a guy who's really good at top end, but you don't have that acceleration early in the phase, that doesn't always translate to being a good football player. And so he has what it takes to be an elite football player because his separation early is as elite as I've ever seen.
His acceleration it's from training, but also probably a little bit natural too, right?
Yeah, it's actually, the early stages of it it's really about strength.
Right.
You know, you have to be able to put big force in the ground to overcome inertia and cover ground, and he has a lot of strength relative to his body weight, a lot of power. He's been running. He's been running his whole. He loves to run, so he's gotten the reps, right? The 10,000 hour rule, whatever you want to call it. And the thing about him is he's just so coachable, and he's a guy who you just need to tell him one thing and he figures it out right there. Show him or tell him, and he's got it. Where some guys it takes, some guys it takes 2 or 3 sessions, some guys it takes 2 or 3 weeks. Some guys it takes 2 or 3 years, but he's a guy who gets it instantly. So those are some of the things that I think have led to his success and his ability to be that explosive.
Group of the scouts I was talking to too, they said not only the speed but the endurance too, because not only did he do all the drills, but then he also did a whole gamut of quarterback drills, then a whole gamut of receiver drills. He was doing fly sweeps, then he goes out and returns some punts, and he's not even tired. The level of endurance he has in his legs is just crazy.
Yeah, and that's just him being disciplined. I know, he trained down in San Diego, and one of the things because I had spoken to the performance coach down there a couple times, he's like, yeah, he's, in between drill, he's jogging, he's running around in the weight room. Like, that is who Tommy is. I know you're worried about him hitting some total distance and yardage and him being fatigued, but understand, part of the reason for why Tommy is who he is because of that mindset. And you gotta be able to reel it in, but that's just who he is. He's a guy who, no matter what we play on Saturday, he's gonna be out here running tempos on the field on Sunday. Win, lose, or draw, he says he's gonna do something and he follows through with it. And he's so disciplined, and he loves to run. He's just incredible.
Marcus Ware, his film is the thing that attracts everybody initially, but he helped himself a lot today, too. I thought, especially with the 34.5-inch vertical 9.6 broad jump. This guy weighs 302 pounds, so that's pretty unheard of numbers, honestly. So what, from a strength and conditioning perspective, what goes into being able to be that explosive when you're have that much mass?
Oh, man, he's always been explosive. Now, early on, he was 250 pounds, so that's one of those things where as a strength coach, you're like, okay, we got to prioritize putting some weight on. And oftentimes the conversation that I have with these guys, because I'm posting their times and the standards for all this stuff, and it's kind of explaining to them, like, look, you're not going to jump as high as you were jumping when you were 250 pounds. You're not going to be as fast as you were. But with him, it's like, oh, he's still is. And he's getting better.
Right.
And, Marcus is a true professional, though, like the way he takes care of his body, the way he trains, just his mindset, how he attacks everything. I mean, I think I heard him today during the verts. The guy was like, just tap it. And he's like, I don't know if I know how to do that. Like, I only know how to go hard. So, yeah, he's impressive. And I mean, I knew he was going to jump well. He's always jumped well. But he really impressed me and surprised me a little bit today.
And Brody Greeby, too. I mean, you could tell I thought he lost a bunch of weight looking at him. He actually was only down like 5-6 pounds because he just remade his body mass. But that also, you got to think, helped him be even more explosive.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I actually asked him a couple of days ago, like, hey, what are you weighing? And he's like, oh, like 240. And I'm like, oh, I would have figured like 230.
Totally. He told me 244 today is what he weighed in at. And he looks like 235, 230. He's lean.
Yeah, so he leaned up great, and yeah, that helps. I mean, when your body composition is low, your muscles don't have to work as hard to project your body in space, and that's the whole idea, right? These guys going away for 8 to 10 weeks to all these facilities. It's like going to a camp where all you're focused on is your body, your performance. You can really hone in on these skills. Now, what I will say about all these guys, you don't go out there and have the day that they had just doing that for 8 to 10 weeks. These guys have been doing that for 4 or 5, Cole saying maybe 7 years, right? Like, you have to take advantage of those years of development, and they did that. And there's often a lot of guys that don't do that and think that they're going to put it all together in 8 to 10 weeks, and it just doesn't work that way.
John Herron here on Nuanez Now, strength and conditioning coach for Montana State University football. So these guys all gave a bunch of credit to you, which I know that's what you want as a coach, is just to hear the affirmations. But to sort of stack some of the programs that these guys went through these last 12 weeks, I'm sure they communicated with you. Yeah. That part also has to be affirming, because I mean, these guys said that what they've done the last 4, 5, 6 years is what got them ready for these last 12 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that these guys are, I'm the guy that in the past for these 4 or 5 years has really been the guy who's just drawn the map.
Sure.
Right? They're the ones that do the driving. Yeah, right. I build the hot rod, the coaches go out there and drive it, right? Yeah. And so it is nice to hear that, but at the end of the day, like, they still got to be the ones that put the work in, and that's a group of guys that were willing to buy into everything that I asked them to do, and then some, right? So that's the recipe for being successful, is being somebody that isn't just doing the bare minimum. It's willing to do the extra work, is willing to listen, is willing to buy in, and that's part of the reason, why they had the day that they had. And yeah, them being afar, I would just touch base with them. Hey, how's it going? Like, can I give you a perspective? Just to give, because that's how it works. Some of these guys respond to different cues, and so just trying to give my little bits of advice here and there to try to help them out, because I want the best for them. And but I also wanted them to go away and experience, the pro day atmosphere where you're competing with other guys from bigger schools, and so I was glad that they got to do that.
It seems like this is a group that's driven each other forward as well. So now, from the Montana State football perspective, how do you sort of go about getting another group that's like that? Because this group has sort of driven this program forward from a leadership perspective and a hard work perspective for a long time. I mean, even especially Brody and Tommy, those guys have been basically the leaders of the team since they were freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, it's one of the main focuses. My job is obviously to develop them physically, but another thing that we touch on a lot is just teaching guys how to lead. Yeah. Teaching guys how to interact with their teammates. How to call them out when things aren't going well, how to pick them up when they need to be picked up. And so we've got a young crew that, we need to develop physically, we need to develop as leaders, and that's always the challenge. That's what's fun about it, is every team is different. And I don't train every team the same every single year. I try to identify what the biggest needs are, and that's one of the things for this next group of guys is, we need to mature, we need to develop some leadership skills, and we need to continue to develop physically, obviously. But that's just one of the challenges of the job, and it's one of the ones that I enjoy the most.
Did you learn anything this year from these guys from this process, or is there anything that you think you want to add to your strength regimen, or was it just more just affirming for what you guys are doing around here?
No, honestly, I learned quite a few things, like some, because these guys come back with their programs, and then they're in here for they've been here for the last couple of weeks, following along, and so I get to watch them train. I'm like, oh, that's what's the thought process behind that? And I'm picking their brains, and I'm taking bits and pieces from them, and because I know they're all at good places with smart coaches, and so I actually this year is the year where I took I'm going to be stealing the most of the stuff, and more along the lines of weight room exercises. Brody Grebe specifically with his L cone technique. I'm like, I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never thought of doing it like that, but that completely makes sense. And so it's constantly learning, right? And that's something that's cool about my position is, I want the guys to learn something from me, but I've been constantly learning stuff from them. And this group was they brought a lot of information to me, which I'm excited to use.
Well, you have to think that these guys gave themselves a chance today.
Oh yeah, I think there was some. Hopefully, you like to say there was some money made today. I think that's
right.
I think that certainly is the case. It was a great day. It's hard to tell when everybody's quiet, but then you get to see the scouts respond.
Right.
When they start smiling and looking at each other, that's when you know, he just did something good. And so there was a lot of that going on today. So I'm just proud of the guys and excited for their future.
John Herron, Montana State football strength and conditioning here on Nuanez Now. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
I've been to a lot of pro days. Never seen scouts react like they did today, especially for the 3 stars of today's pro day. Tommy Millott, Brody Grebe, and Marcus Ware here in Bozeman, Montana. Coming to you live from Universal Athletic. We'll have some fun. Carolyn, she doesn't know sports. Next, keep it right here, ESPN Radio.
Grizzly. So will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it or we'll replace it. No questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection. But at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires because more warranty means less worry. And nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Missoula.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
I walk on over with my crystal. Look at this, you put away your pistol. Dirty won't be having it in this house, cause I shit out cripple your style. Now that you heard my charming voice, you couldn't get another again. Goofies won't get moist. If you wanna look good and not be bummy, yo, you better give me that money.
All right, PODB. Welcome back to Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. No SWX today, though. We are on YouTube, though, and Facebook Live and Twitch, coming to you live from Universal Athletic here in Bozeman, Montana, on hand for the Montana State Pro Day. We've talked extensively about Pro Day on the Grizz side and the Bobcats side. Enough of that. It's Friday. Let's have some fun.
Did you used to get nervous before you played tennis?
Yes.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I'm really trying to figure out how to make you do stand-up comedy. And we're recording this on a Thursday, so Carolyn, she doesn't know sports, has not seen Sarah Colonna yet live, but she was just in studio with us earlier today on this Thursday. You are listening to this on this Friday. I'm coming to you live from Bozeman. Sarah is in Bozeman tonight, so I'm going to go see her in Bozeman. But I asked her if she used to be nervous when she first started, and she's like, yeah, but it's just like sports. It's just like being an athlete. You got to get your reps, and then after that, you're not nervous.
Yeah.
So we need to get you some reps.
I know. I just need to go do it.
Your future is a stand-up comedian.
I know, an elderly stand-up comedian. It would be a hit. I will come out with my walker. And yeah,
life after 50.
Yeah, I'm not 50 yet.
Stand-up. Oh, I know. I'm just like projecting because it's going to take you a couple years. You know, it'll take you like 11 or 12 years to get to to be able to do stand-up comedy. I don't know. I just feel like it's you do a stand-up bit on this show weekly.
Yeah.
To millions and millions of listeners around the world.
Millions upon millions.
Yes. You even have nicknames from our listeners.
The Ick Chick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean,
that's a start. Yeah. And Bull Cut Buckta, which, by the way, I got a text from a client that is not Tom from Aspen Sound that said, I guess I'm supposed to call you Bull Cut Buckta now.
Oh, that's great.
So that's really taken
Just
off.
say, no, call me Dana Jacobson, said.
What?
Dana Jacobson.
Oh.
It's your CBS Sports sideline reporter doppelganger.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe you'll see me on a stage someday.
All right. Well, make me laugh, stand-up comedian Buckta.
I told you I don't really have anything funny today.
Okay, well, at least it'll be somewhat insightful.
Okay.
At least I hope.
So baseball just started, right? Last week was opening day. So it's on everybody's brains right now. So, okay, when what was your first Major League Baseball game?
Oh, man. You think I'd remember this better.
It doesn't really matter. What did you eat at that game?
Garlic fries.
Okay.
Okay, no, this is interesting. I went to a game at Candlestick Park in San Francisco when I was a very little kid, like 5 or 6. And I don't have any memory of it besides just going and like being cold.
Yeah.
But then I remember when we went to Mariners game with my family when I was probably like 13 or 14.
You remember garlic fries.
And I remember garlic fries. That's like a thing at all the West Coast parks. Seattle Mariners and San Francisco Giants.
And Dodgers. Well,
and Dodgers,
it's funny.
they all have garlic fries.
I was actually going to bring those particular fries up. So when I was younger, you'd go and get a hot dog and a Coke or a Pepsi and peanuts. And that was it. That's what you got. Then when I lived in California and I would go to Dodgers games or Padres games, you'd that garlic fry place was like, oh my God, they have garlic fries. Okay, so now these stadiums have insane food choices.
Totally.
Like they have full chefs. This isn't just a hot dog with mustard.
Yeah, I mean the Raiders Stadium has David Chang food stands. David Chang's like a very famous chef. He has like a podcast and a reality show and stuff. Yeah, I got like the David Chang chicken strips. They're like $25, but they were delicious.
Okay, so there's sort of a list on Sports Illustrated of what's kind of the hot thing.
Okay.
The White Sox have a celebration cake shake.
Okay.
Birthday cake, pieces of confetti cake, and then a big hunk of cake in a cup with a milkshake. Just what you want on a hot day.
Yeah, gross.
The Colorado Rockies have dessert nachos. Fine. Houston Astros have a Daddy Mac dog, which is a foot-long hot dog topped with brisket, mac and cheese, barbecue sauce, and pickles.
Wow.
How do you even eat that sitting?
I don't even know.
While you're watching. Okay, here's the worst one. Ramen. How do you eat ramen while you're sitting at a baseball game?
Nobody knows.
Okay, well.
It's also what you feel like afterwards. Like
Right.
being uncomfortably full, not at my house, sounds terrible.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Like you want to unbutton that top button
Like
and
you
just
crush that at the
Yeah.
game, and there's still 3 hours left. I guess baseball games don't last as long anymore now that they got the stupid pitch clock.
still. We're okay. Seattle Mariners has wings, and then they have little dumpers.
What is that?
They are basically dumplings.
Okay. Terrible name.
I know. Well, it's kind of funny.
They need to rename that.
And then the Texas Rangers have a boomstick burrito, which is a 26-inch tortilla filled with all the burrito stuff. Oh, ready for this one?
Ready.
Toronto Blue Jays have cotton candy fries.
Gross. Dessert nachos also sound gross.
Well, I think it's like, do you remember Taco? I think it was Taco John's had those. They're like tortilla chips covered in sugar and cinnamon.
Oh, sure.
They're really good.
Yeah.
I would say dessert nachos were the best of the bunch.
So this was like rankings or just,
No, this
just
is
acknowledgments?
if you want to go have some ramen while you watch
All
baseball, go see Seattle or whoever it was. I don't remember.
All right.
I think the only reason to go to a baseball game is for the hot dog and the beer.
See, okay, so this brings me to an interesting deal. Chicken Does No Sports here on ESPN Radio. Coastal Carolina, which used to be the same division as Montana in football, they moved up. It's located in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They draw pretty similarly to like the Cats, not as much as the Grizz. They draw like 18,000 fans a game, but they're okay. They're low level FBS. They're never going to be like Alabama or Ohio State, but they are in the subdivision that's above the Grizz. They said earlier this week that they are giving away free concessions of all sorts all year long.
That's great.
What do you think of that?
I love it.
I think it's a good marketing plan.
Absolutely.
Because I think that at a place like that, they don't have this fancy sort of, it's a hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, candy, soda.
That's great.
It's cheap,
Yeah.
right? So you're saying, because then you can just get more people to buy tickets.
Exactly.
And you have a family. Okay, we're going to sell you 5 tickets because you're like, we're going to take the kids because we can feed
And now
them.
we can feed them.
Yeah.
We entertain and feed them.
Yes.
That's why those like dollar dog nights go over so well.
I know. See, I can't believe no one's caught on to this. I guess there's a liability behind it and et cetera. But
What's the liability?
I just mean like if I was running a pro team, I'm having like a $2 beer night.
Absolutely.
But didn't we get in trouble with this last year because the Phillies had like some sort of
Yes, and then
drink
there was
all
a
you
big
can beer, and then they were throwing hot dogs at each other. There was fights in the
There was
stands.
a big wiener
and-
fight. Yeah. I think if you gave away free hot dogs but you charged regular price for beer or something like that, I think you'd still come out ahead.
Right.
It's just like going to the movies.
Right.
Why do they do that to us?
I know.
And then they're like, no one goes to the movies anymore.
Yeah,
I can't
no one goes
afford
to the
it.
movies anymore because the movies suck.
Well, the movies suck, and they're all remakes, and they're all Marvel.
We were playing like 80s songs that were on soundtracks of movies on the show the other day. I know you don't listen, so just letting you know.
That's just not true. That is just not true.
But I played a song from Pretty Woman, and I was just thinking to myself like how that movie doesn't like that movie is just a Netflix show now or like a
Right.
straight to Netflix movie. It just doesn't exist anymore. And it's just such a huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why can't we just have a nice little hour and 40-minute long movie that's just a fun
about a hooker?
I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like, now
Right.
it has to be this whole to-do, and it's got to be this Marvel thing that blows your face off, and it's 3 hours long, and you got to have the glasses and all these weird things. It's just, why can't we just have like a normal drama? Like, is there even like rom-coms in the theaters anymore? I mean, I'm sure
Not
there are
really.
not
like there used to be.
Not like there used to be, right?
But I do think if they could make it more affordable for people,
right.
they would fill up theaters.
You probably didn't live in Missoula when there was the Dollar Theater.
It was torn down.
It was a $3
It was
theater, I
torn
guess,
down
but-
like within our first year of being here, but I
Oh,
do
yeah.
remember it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, when my parents would be annoyed with us, we'd be like, "Well, just drop us off there," and they would just give
Yeah.
us money, and we'd just go watch 2 movies in a row, and
Yeah.
then get picked up and
And
go
then
home.
even in Anaconda, they have a historic theater there, and they do get new releases there, but they're cheaper and their concessions are so cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure they do great, and it's the coolest theater because it's old and it's beautiful, and so if you're in Anaconda, make sure you're hitting up the theater. I'm sure you are.
All right, Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. We have a huge listenership in Anaconda. I'm not kidding. That's actually not a joke. Anaconda loves this show, and I love them for it.
I love the Anaconda Theater, so there you go.
Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. What else you got?
All right, so speaking of baseball, the Dodgers had a game yesterday with Shohei Ohtani bobbleheads.
Okay.
Now, last year, they had a limited edition of only 40,000.
Okay.
I don't know if that could be right. Maybe it was 4,000. So there was
it could be 40. I mean, he's the biggest star in baseball.
Well, how many people fit in that stadium?
More than 40.
Okay. So it was not everyone got one is basically the thing. So people lined up for hours before.
56,000 people fit in
Okay,
Dodger
so
Stadium.
they had 40,000. Last year, people lined up for 8 hours before the game so they could get their bobblehead.
I believe it.
This year, everyone with a ticket gets a bobblehead.
Everybody.
But they still lined up for 4 hours prior to the game to ensure their bobblehead.
Wow, people are strange.
Now, when there's 60,000 bobbleheads made, even 40,000 bobbleheads made, you're not going to make money off of selling that, right? Like, why do you care so much about a bobblehead?
Like, some people just want it because people love collecting stuff because
Yeah.
they love Ohtani. I still think there's a market for it, though.
Really?
56,000 of them in the whole world. I mean, there's people in Japan that are going to buy that.
Huh.
They can't go to LA and can't go to the stadium and can't
Yeah.
get one of those. There's a market for it.
Wild.
You got to think, like, how many of those Michael Jordan cards is there right there? Like, there's probably 100,000 of those. 100,000 is not a lot in the scope of the world, right?
And you just have it sitting out here.
Like, your ring is made of gold and diamonds. There's not like a finite amount of that in the world. But it's rare, so that's why it makes it worth money.
Well, this is prettier than a Shohei Ohtani.
For sure. But some people
Bobblehead.
probably think that Shohei Ohtani is, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have way better things to do with my time, like lie down on my couch.
You know the Dodgers are undefeated.
I heard.
And this is the thing that all baseball fans that aren't Dodgers fans have one thing in common. They hate the Dodgers.
It's been a week, though, so everyone can relax.
8 days. Yeah. Eight games. But this is everybody else's worst nightmare. Like, what the Yankees were in the 90s is what the Dodgers are now. There's no salary cap in baseball. It's the only pro sport without a salary cap. So they just spend and spend and spend and spend and spend and spend and spend. And it makes it so that other teams just can't keep up.
Did they win?
They won the World Series last year.
And do we think they're going to win again?
Well, this is what makes the actual story compelling, is that they are so good and so stacked that anything but that is just a complete failure. But like, that amount of pressure is also going to be hard for them to like overcome. So yeah, I mean, if games were played on paper, they're going to go like 120. They're going to win like 120 games and roll to the World Series. But that's not how it goes. You never know when somebody gets hurt. And you never know when they lose in the playoffs. And
someone gets arrested for illegal gambling.
Sure, somebody do that.
Who do you think Shohei Ohtani's betting on this season?
Oh man, good question. I wonder if he got a new interpreter.
Yes, his interpreter's in jail. I'm pretty sure got deported or something.
Yeah, I don't know who he's betting on this season. Some sort of weird European soccer team, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, go Dodgers. I like the Dodgers. I don't have a problem
You're
with
into
them.
it?
I mean, I'm not into it, but I don't have a problem with them.
Yeah, well.
They didn't do anything to me. But I still love the Cubbies forever.
The Cubs are supposed to be okay this year, so we'll see how that all works out.
I mean,
they're favored in their division.
Our Chicago's teams never really win anything, and
That's
I'm
not
used to
that
that.
true.
It's all
Just lately.
I was telling my son about Wrigley Field and how amazing it is, and someday I'm going to take him there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nah."
I mean, the Cubs won the World Series less than 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2016.
You got to think the Mariners have never won the World Series.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I forgot about the Mariners, to be honest.
Chicago teams have had some success. A lot more success than a lot of other cities out there.
And if you go to a Sox game, you can get a $60,000 or 60,000 calorie milkshake and feel like absolute garbage.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to Sox games. That's the biggest laughing stock in all of pro sports, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy that's what they've become.
Well, they were always laughing stock to me because if you're either a Cubs or a Sox fan,
Totally.
you can't beat both.
Yeah.
So, but I couldn't tell you the name of a Cub player.
Well, duh. Could you tell me a name of a single baseball player besides the one
Shohei
you just
Ohtani.
talked about?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Chicken doesn't know sports. Just keeping it real here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. All right, what else you got?
All right, Kim Mulkey.
She was just in Spokane. Do you
was
regret that you missed her?
Yes, I love
the
her.
The women's Sweet 16 and Elite 8 were in Spokane.
Oh, they were? So they made it to the Elite 8.
They did.
Yes.
Yes, they made it to the Elite 8 and they lost.
They lost. So she, after they do the press after.
Oh, yeah.
And did you see this?
Oh, I saw it.
And this guy, she basically led the guy in saying that they played terrible. And he said, yeah, terrible. And then she said, you ever made it to the Final Four?
And he's like, no.
Yeah.
She's like, not that terrible, is it?
Yeah. But she said that they played terrible.
She set him up to get kicked straight down.
But I like it. Am I kicking you? Sorry. Yeah, she set him up, and it was hilarious. Do you think she's going to keep coaching? What do you think her future is?
What the hell else is she going to do?
I don't know.
She
could be a drag queen in those outfits.
She's got no chill. Like what?
She's got no chill.
What is she going to do? Like retire and do what?
I'd love to talk to her about the transfer portal.
Man.
I'd love to know what some of these coaches, like she's not going to leave South Carolina, right?
Well, she was married. Okay. She was married for almost 20 years. Has been divorced though for 20. So.
She would be a hard person to be married to.
Oh boy.
You'd be scared of her.
Indeed you would.
She's scary.
You would be terrified.
He entered the transfer portal.
Man, you're not wearing sweats in public ever with her as your...
You got to wear some bedazzled clothes and...
Oh, man.
Yeah. How long has she been with South Carolina?
No, you mean LSU?
I thought she was with South Carolina. No, you're right. LSU.
Don
Sorry.
Staley's with South Carolina.
Sorry.
LSU. She's been the head coach at LSU this was her 4th season.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, she was at Baylor forever.
Okay.
For like 20 plus years.
Huh. Okay. Well,
21 seasons.
I'm interested in these coaches that have been places for a really long time, like how they feel about these transfer portals.
Well, the ones that are at places like Baylor and LSU feel a lot different about it than other places because their talent doesn't get nearly as pillaged. They have people leave because of like at this level, the Big Sky Conference where we're at. If you have a really good player, that player's just going to go to a bigger, better program for money.
Right.
Kim Mulkey can keep most of her players because she has money.
Because she has the money.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like Angel Reese isn't looking to go anywhere else because she's already at the place that won the national championship. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but you had told me that last week that I forgot how many people were in the transfer portal.
Yeah, like over 1,100 on the women's side and over 1,500 on the men's side.
And that was while the tournament was still going on.
That's correct.
So
another reason why Kim Mulkey doesn't have to worry about it as much, though.
Because her team
made those people
so
aren't they're not getting recruited yet because they're still playing.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody's getting in somebody's year. And make no mistake, there's players from LSU that leave too. It's just very rarely the top group. It's the bottom group that leaves instead of the top.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
But I think that Kim Mulkey would tell you that she doesn't love it.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like coaches also have one foot out the door.
Sure.
So
this is a fascinating dynamic too, though, because in men's basketball, so often guys leave at programs, even if they are big time and even if they are winning, if they're not the man, because they want to go be the man, no matter where that could possibly be.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen nearly as much in women's.
Yeah.
Women are totally more into winning.
Right.
If they're like at a place that's winning, they want to stay there.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's because we are just more evolved.
Certainly when you're in your early 20s. I mean, I think for the duration of life, that's true. But there's specific times where it's particularly true. I think college-age kids, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so you went to Pro Day Thursday and Friday.
Correct.
University of Montana and Montana State.
Correct.
So this is where they kind of show off their goods, right? This is where they're like running and showing how fast they can run and all that stuff.
Yes.
Why are you laughing?
Well,
I don't mean showing off their goods.
I mean they did it in their underwear, so it is funny.
Okay, I didn't know that. Why do they do it in their underwear?
Show off your body.
What?
It's a meat market.
Gross.
That's what we're doing.
Do they do that for women? Sports? Do they do Pro Day?
You know, I don't really know. I can't really think of a comparable Pro Day type of I mean, Esmeralda Morales from Montana State, who is the Big Sky MVP for basketball, she's going to the WNBA draft combine. She is for sure not going to be working out in her underwear.
So why are men parading around in their undies and
the pro day is crazy. The measurables
are
is
they
insane.
in briefs or are they in boxers?
Compression shorts.
Okay. I just didn't know if I should go next year.
You would be blown away, actually, I think. This is like Measurement Central. They measure your hands, they measure your wingspan, they measure your height, your weight. Like you are just such a perverted person.
Sorry. You're blushing.
It is weird when you really think about it.
Yes, it's weird.
To play pro football, they make you work out in your underwear.
Interesting.
They don't make you. You don't have to.
But everyone does.
Because they want to show off how swole they are.
How ripped they are.
Yeah.
See, to me...
I mean, like the lineman guy didn't, because he weighs 310 pounds. He doesn't need to. He's like, I'm 6'6", 310. Look at me.
But, like, why do you have to... you're proving it with what you're doing out there.
I don't even necessarily know if it's showing off as much as it's aerodynamic and stuff, too, though. Like, just straight up running in spandex is just... There's less to catch.
Yeah.
And you're talking about hundredths of a second are determining where you're drafted, if you get drafted.
Are they shaved? Do they shave their arms and legs?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, you didn't get a close-up look?
I mean...
Are they oiled up?
I have a theory.
I just feel like we could sell tickets to this.
There was a lot of people there today.
I bet there was.
More than 100.
Really?
For sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
So they do this, and then they don't get drafted, but their stats are shown and all that. And then there's this mock selection.
Well, mock drafts are happening all the time.
Is that like real? Like,
there's an industry behind it. There's guys that
is that like fantasy football, or is this
no? It's like analysts that are just projecting who's going to go where
based on how they did in their underwear.
Correct.
Okay.
And also how they did in their careers and they're on the field.
Not just their
stuff. Not just the underwear Olympics.
Okay. And then the NFL draft
is where they actually get picked.
Now, do the people drafting these half-naked men look at the mock things and, do they use that or are they only looking at what they saw at the underwear Olympics? You know what I'm saying? Like, does the mock draft have any...
No.
Okay.
The mock draft is a bunch of independent journalists that are projecting.
Got it. Okay.
What the teams are going to do. I mean, there's 100+ people that work for every NFL team that are scouts, personnel evaluators, general manager, player personnel, like all this stuff. And they're all sitting... They'll spend the next month putting together what their desires are. And then when the draft starts going... It's all about like who does what, and then you're reacting to that.
So were there NFL scouts there today?
21 of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said some CFL ones too, right?
All 8.
Oh, okay.
All 8 CFL teams were at Montana.
Okay. And then they will go to MSU tomorrow too?
Probably more at MSU.
Oh, okay.
They have even higher draft prospects.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. Okay. I feel like I ask this every year, but I just
No,
need
you
a
haven't
refresher.
asked this detailed questions about this every year.
Well, put me on.
I'm imagining you want to go next year.
I was like, put me on your guest list next
Please.
year. I'm kidding. I don't want to. No. Okay. I don't know if I should do my next story after making those kind of jokes, but I'm going to. Jean-Claude Van Damme is facing charges in Romania for sex trafficking because he accepted sex with 5 women as a gift. So someone gifted him 5 women. He accepted.
Wow.
And then he got charged with sex trafficking. So I just want this to be a lesson. If someone offers you a woman as a gift or 5, and this isn't to you, this is just to all you guys out there in general.
Romania also seems like a place where...
It's a hotbed for sex trafficking.
Is that real?
I don't know. The Tate brothers were arrested
That's
there,
all
though.
I did. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Was the Tate brothers and then... Now this, yeah.
Were
you a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan?
I remember some movie where he did the splits and kicked people in the face.
That's most of his movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just described all of them.
Yeah, but that's
Bloodsport was a great movie.
Okay.
Frank Dukes.
This was back when you'd see every movie that came out, like back in the day. So
right. Have you seen this movie? Yeah, I see all the movies.
We see every movie. No, I'm not a fan of Jean-Claude. In fact, I forgot he existed until today.
Yeah,
and
me
then
too.
I was like,
he hasn't been famous for like 30 years.
I guess I just want to know who gave him this gift. Was this his birthday gift?
Sure.
Was this Like,
yeah, it seems like a weird gift.
it's a strange gift and probably not one you should accept. And then
seems like you're getting set up.
it feels like a setup.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, "Hey, I brought you a birthday gift. It's 5 women." I would
totally
probably
weird.
say no.
Yeah,
I mean, I would definitely say no, but I'm just saying
you probably should
one
say
should
no.
say no. Yeah.
Yes.
So, just thought you'd like this important Jean-Claude Van Damme update.
You asked me if I thought he was an athlete. He's definitely.
Was he a fighter?
I think he had real martial arts.
Well, he was definitely a martial artist, but I didn't know if he was like, I don't know what martial arts people get, how they go pro or whatever.
Yeah,
Is he a professional martial artist?
I don't know how that works. Like Chuck Norris was definitely a real professional fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he fought professionally before he became famous.
Now he's selling.
Van Damme has a second Dan black belt in karate, and he competed in several karate and kickboxing competitions. He was the middleweight champion of the European Professional Karate Association, and then Mr. Belgium's bodybuilding titleist. That same year.
And then he broke into
and then
Hollywood.
he got into Hollywood, and then he had his. He was in several films, and then he got his big break as Frank Dukes in Bloodsport.
Okay, and now he's going to jail.
Now he's going to jail. Poor Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No gift of 5 women is worth jail, fellas.
Well, indeed,
So
certainly.
just keep that in your back pocket.
Stay away from Romania, I guess.
Yeah,
too.
definitely. Especially if it's a Romanian gift of 5 women. Say no. Just say no.
All right. Well, Chicken Does No Sports, probably presented by Hot House Yoga. You been to yoga lately?
Yes, I went on Monday.
Very nice.
No, Sunday.
Good. Was it great?
It was great. I sweat. I got a good sweat on. I stretched. I mean, what more could you want?
What more could you want? It's
Yeah.
relaxing. It's a great workout. It's a great way to unwind, detox, all that good stuff. Check out Hot House Yoga downtown Missoula. And appreciate them for helping us out. Chicken Does No Sports. Anything else today?
That's it.
Thanks, Carolyn.
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Attention, your locally owned and nationally known mattress firm thanks the Missoula community for 10 years of amazing support and growth. There's a huge remodel sale blowout before the doors close for their 2-week remodel. All inventory must go. Mattresses, adjustable bases, accessories, all drastically marked down to clear the showroom. Save it to 60% off on top name brands. If you've been waiting for that amazing deal, now is the time. Mattress Firm's remodel sale only April 1st through the 15th.
Where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Is now on ESPN Radio.
Said, hey baby, please calm down, cause I'm still around. And it's for you that my heart pounds. Can I call you later on? You say I treat you wrong, but why you flipping on me?
Welcome back. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Appreciate you for hanging out with us. You missed anything in the show, you can always find it on the Nuanez Now podcast, probably presented by the M Store, where they're all grizz all the time. The Montana State Bookstore, your best place for blue and gold on game day or any other day. And Elevated Tax, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch. Thanks to Universal Athletic for hosting us. We had a question from a listener. I only got 10 seconds to address it, but was there Viking scouts in town in Missoula and Bozeman? Yes, there was. There was a Viking scout in both cities, and she was very impressed. Yes, it is a she. She is one of the only female scouts in the NFL. A cool story. We'll see you again on Monday at 4 p.m. with a national championship game live from the Tap Club. In the meantime, have yourself a great weekend and be good. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio.
Grizzly Disposal is proud to be a locally owned and operated business